What's going on, guys? Welcome to another Tuesday night live stream. Comic News Weekly. We say Comic News Weekly, but tonight we're throwing in a trading card topic as well. We'll get to that in a little bit, but I want to welcome everyone here each and every Tuesday night as people come into the live stream and come into the chat. Love the conversation that takes place in the chat, but more importantly, I also love the conversation that we have on this very show with the panelists, and we're going to bring those panelists in right now, coming from comicbookinvest.com and the Indie Spotlight series. Let's welcome Andy Tomberlin. What's going on, buddy?
What's up, Brian? Glad to be here, as always. And
yeah, we missed you last week. Hope everything's okay with what you had going on. I know you had a personal issue, so.
Yeah, appreciate that, man. Really do.
Always welcome to have you back. And from Tales from the Flip Side YouTube channel and the Ballcast and about 16 other podcasts, we have Brian McClay. What's going on, buddy?
What's up, brother? A lot of fun news to talk about. Some titans in our industry getting chopped down today.
Yeah. Real quick before we get into that, we have Mr. YouTube Comic Man Andy himself, always doing those great unboxing videos. Make sure you guys check him out. He's always got live streams going up on Monday nights. Bunch of other great videos as well. Comic Man Andy, El Beardo Jefe. What's going on, bud?
What's good, guys? It is Tuesday. I am pumped. I hope you guys are too.
Yes, so as of right now, we don't know if Tony's eating SpaghettiOs in the background. He's going to join us in a little bit. But right now, we have A2, B2, two Andys, two Bryans, and we're going to get right into these topics. Starting with the first one from Image Comics, King Spawn, breaking pre-order records for Image Comics. It's like the number one, it's like the biggest selling pre-order book they've had in like the past 25 years. And King Spawn #1 is breaking 500,000 pre-orders. Kind of crazy. We're seeing some creator-owned books. We just saw Berserker for Boom Studios sell what, like 600-something thousand in the pre-orders as well. But a lot of people are loving Spawn, and they're loving King Spawn #1 coming up. What do you guys think about this?
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of had to see it coming. If it was going to do it, it was going to be with this one. I think there's a lot of hype behind it for good reason. I can't.
Yeah, I didn't hear Todd McFarlane talk about it much at all.
No, I mean, every now and then you might sneak a little something in, but no, I think like if you were gonna think a book would do it, this would be it. You know. So.
Yeah, there's been a lot of hype building to it, especially with the Spawn arc, and then breaking off into some of these solo titles. Right, I'm not the biggest Spawn fan in the universe. I've said that before, but I am looking forward to picking up King Spawn as jumping on point. There's some great covers for it. One of the things I wanted to bring up, especially with you, Brian McClay, is we see there's a 1 in 250 variant, right? And then we've seen, I'm sure people have seen the pictures of the oval table lined all the way around with all these 1 in 250 variants. And in the article, I know it was Hype Beast, right? They said that each store that ordered 250 copies is getting one. Now, we also know variants 1 in 250. Is it actually 1 in 250, or is it per store that ordered 250 copies? What is your take on this?
Well, listen, there's a lot of speculation, I would say, on how these variants work. So I don't know, and like to get into that craziness because I'm not buying any of these. Like you know what I mean. So, but it's what I've heard is what that blows me away is the fact that they're doing the grading part with it too. If you get one of these 250 variants, or I mean, one of these 1 in 250, I think there's what 1,700 of them total.
Like yeah, I know when he first started, people were getting hyped because he was signing them on his Facebook channel, and it was like one of 387, and people were getting hyped, and you just kept seeing that number change.
Yeah,
and we got a lot there.
Yeah, and they did do some green ink ones, I think, and then they also did a blue ink one too, I think, which are limited. So, and those are going to be put randomly in, so no stores aren't going to know who gets them or whatnot. The crazy thing, though, like I was talking about, is the CGC what would you call it? A voucher that you get with this, which is on the back cover, or they put a little piece of paper in the back that says, if you own this book and you want to get it graded by CGC within 30 days of release date, they will honor the signature as a verified signature, which is very interesting to me, considering all the hoopla that's going on right now with verified signatures and grading and all that stuff. For them to pull that off, and how we look at it is like, here's CGC winning again, right? I mean, they're with Todd McFarlane signing these books. This is one of the biggest selling comic books in a long time. Do you guys really think there's that many Spawn fans out there?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think there's diehards, right? And I always say, my collection is driven from nostalgia. So I think there's a lot of people that Spawn fans, and then they kind of maybe secluded a little bit when the comics kind of dipped, but then Spawn kind of caught some heat again. And then it's like, yeah, I'm back out, baby. And then I think there's also new readers. I know one of our friends, Scott Reagan's one of the biggest Spawn fans that's out there. And we've seen that popularity of issue number 1. I remember when issue number 1, that CGC 98, not even, you can say newsstand, but even the regular one, like, that's even popular right now. And at the time, they're like, dude, I am not wasting my money on that. There's so many of those out there. I like seeing that trend, because we saw that trend with another McFarlane book. And it was a little bit about Amazing Spider-Man number 300. How many of those are on the census, right? And it's still a popular book. I understand Marvel's a little bit different than Image, but people like what they like. And it's anxious to see $500,000. I mean, 500,000 print isn't something to shake an eye at for creator-owned book. So
it's bonkers. Yeah. But that's what I'm getting at. Yeah. Like, do you guys feel like that? Well, those aren't all bought, right? I mean, because those are those all comic stores and retailers pre-ordering
shelf copies, whatever.
So here's the dirty little secret, right? And I'm just thinking, I didn't plan this, but like, are those really? Should we really count those as sales until they? Or should we count the sales after they're sold at the comic store?
And is the book returnable?
That's another question.
I don't know. I don't know that answer, but I'm going to throw that out. And another thing is, there's some great covers for it. We've seen those. And
is there any retailer exclusives for King Spawn?
Oh, I'm sure there are.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And there's your 500,000 print run, right?
Yeah. I haven't seen a ton of them, though. I will say that. But I feel like they got to be out there. I mean, do you see what the 1 in 250 selling for right now?
Yeah, like $1,000, right?
It was $900, then a $1,200 sale, and then like the undercutter wave, as Mel says, is popping in. You got $600 sales right now. So, but
I did see a lot of the comic retailers, like the newsletters, sending out the CGC 98 copies, and it seemed to go from some on the lower end was about 13. I saw it all the way up to like close to $2,000.
Just wait until we see some of those comp unsigned copies pop up. What do you think? Those are things are going to just go for a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah, I would think that would be the one, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mitch brings up a good point. It's like Image can count the sales; they're sold on their side. So.
Yeah, great point, Mitch. Yeah.
I mean, but that 1 in 250. I mean, the returnability that would be funky.
Well, you compared it to Berserker, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's a lot of those Berserker books are still sitting unsold.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I agree on that totally.
Yeah, and there's a lot of covers for Berserker. I'm a Boom Studios homer, and I like Berserker, and heck, I even gave away one of those 1 in 1,000 Keanu signed books, which, in my heart of hearts, I didn't want to give that away, man. How about it?
It wasn't as hard as giving away a 1 in 50 Shohei Ohtani gold signed rookie, bro.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
What about you, tough. Andy? Is it on your pull list? Are you going to pick up King Spawn or cover A to read?
I haven't, and it's just because of over all the years of watching Spawn hit the shelves, those milestone issues or those mile marker issues, they always are extremely well celebrated, I'll say. Lots of covers, lots of variants. And I have so much going on that I just can't dedicate that much time and money and effort into a single series that's going to do that to me as frequent and as often as they are. And here we are coming back. 500,000 print run tells me it's not time for me to get into reading Spawn. That's what it tells me. And I might be missing out on a really cool story, which means I'll just read it on trade later, to be honest with you.
I want to backtrack just a second because I know we talked about store exclusives, but I'd have to find it, but I want to say that at some point Todd McFarlane wasn't allowing store exclusives for his book.
Yes. Hey, and I was about to say that. Like I just did a little quick search there, and I see literally none. So
good.
I think he put the clamps on it.
Yeah, and I'm not faulting him for that. That's kind of a
no.
Cool
If anybody would do it, it would be him. You know, him, Liefeld.
He holds Spawn up on, and he should hold it on a pedestal. You know,
yeah,
what
that's
I mean?
just Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're 100%. And there was just news that came out recently about the movie is going, getting going again. And
yeah, they got a new writer, right?
Yep. So yeah, I see that.
Tony in. We have A2B2T1.
What's going on, guys?
Welcome people that are coming into the chat.
What's
House
up,
of L Comics. Always good to see you here, fellow Patreon supporter. But Tony, I know you just came in. We were talking about King Spawn #1 breaking pre-order sales records for Image, right? What are your thoughts on King Spawn? Are you excited to read it? What do you think about the 1 in 250 variant that's signed floating around out there? Just kind of get your thoughts on this before we move to the next topic.
Yeah, and thank you guys for letting me finish eating. I know I'm in a different time zone than a couple of you, but yeah, I'm very excited that the Spawn universe is expanding. I think it's a little overdue. I mean, it's been big for a long time. The idea that it, obviously there have been characters that have spun off into little mini series here and there, but I think it's awesome. To be honest, in the last year, I've become a trade reader. I just am so busy with work, and then, I mean, this has kind of become my second job between selling and staying on top of things and sourcing books, where I kind of wait till I hear what's good and then I pick up the trades. I might also have keep the floppies too, but I just don't have as much time to be reading a big stack of books every single Wednesday. I just binge when I can. But no, I think it's exciting. I think Todd's a master marketer. I think he knows what he has, and he knows how to, I loved after 300 how every issue had the record-breaking banner. He loves to show off.
Yeah, that's accolades to be proud of, especially in creator-owned comics having 300 issues.
Yeah,
I mean, that read, my opinion is they just print Savage Dragon to print it.
Yeah, I agree. Savage Dragon is just like, might as well keep it going.
It's a waste of paper.
Doesn't it feel, little tangent, but doesn't it feel like Savage Dragon's going to have its day somewhere? Like somebody's going to make a procedural cop drama about Savage Dragon somewhere?
Yeah, it's going to be on Substack.
I don't know.
It'll be on Substack streaming service.
Wait, I mean, since last week, we talked about Substack and Tynan, but we've also seen within the past week even more creators jump over to that. So that's a platform to keep an eye on for sure. But I want to move into the next one, which isn't so much comic related, but it's big news, especially from the collector market. I mean, we all collect trading cards here as well. We've talked about them here. I've done unboxings for Marvel trading cards and Topps baseball. I've been collecting some soccer cards, but McClabe, let the people know there's some huge news for one of the biggest comic card sellers, especially on eBay.
Yeah, there are people out there, auction houses, Ken Golden auction houses. There's we have him in who's getting into comics now. He's a big card auction house. We have Heritage, who's a big auction house. Well, these guys, there's two big quote unquote auction houses or sellers on eBay like that you can send your card and consign your cards to. and they'll sell it for you, and they get a higher price usually on eBay because of how big they are and how much they are advertised by eBay. And that is, the two companies are Probstein and PWCC, which stands for Pre-War Card Collector. They're old school eBay sellers that have been there a long time, that just sell tons of cards, consigned cards from the public. Well, PWCC has been in a little bit of trouble the last couple years. We've talked about it on channels for a long time. Their trimming issue, where in the card world there was a trimming problem going on, where a bunch of people got caught trimming less conditioned cards into better conditioned cards, and then PWCC would sell them and be part of the selling. Well, that is an investigation that's ongoing by the FBI. Well, at the same time, eBay hit them just the other day for shilling, and now they basically said, peace, adios. As Brian said earlier, there was it sounded like at first they were just going to do a little slap on the hands, but it doesn't look like that's the case. They're gonna probably have to do a lot of groveling, or they might just be done.
I'm glad you brought that article up, because that's the exact link I put in the chat.
Yeah.
Can I be the noob and ask what is officially shilling? What are they classifying that as?
Well, they haven't really said yet. I was looking at this earlier, and it says so this is what eBay put out. Recently, it was determined that individuals associated with the trading card seller PWCC have engaged in, quote, shill bidding, which is prohibited on eBay. As a result, eBay has restricted PWCC's selling privileges and listings effective today. Their policies and standards were designed to ensure a trusted marketplace, blah, blah, blah. So if you click on shill bidding in this article, it takes you to eBay's shill bidding policy, right? And it doesn't really get into specifics, but I imagine that has to do with the investigation, and also the fact that they're under FBI investigation still. You know what I mean? So we'll find out soon. But this
essentially,
is
shill bidding is basically fake bidding on something to drive the price up.
Yes, shilling. Yeah, sorry.
If I had two items, I asked Andy to bid one of them up to whatever 200. He wins the auction. We cancel the order. Now the next
that's one form of it.
Sales. It looks like my other one is worth 200.
That's one form of it. Another one is just straight faking bids, right? You have somebody bidding for you and they're not really paying it, or that type of stuff.
And that article that he has up talks about it, like talking about the peak of trading cards, like last February. They mention in that article, does that have something to do with it?
Yeah, of course it does. 100%. Right? I mean, cards have gone crazy. Not too long ago, there was that Mike.
Oh,
Go
sorry,
ahead, Andy.
Brian. But another one is you get two guys or two accounts going at it, and you drive the price through the roof on it, and then the FOMO kicks in, and that card is worth that much more. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can do it, and it's a dangerous deal, and there's so many people out there that do it that hopefully. I mean, but this isn't. Let's just be real. I don't think it's going to scare any of the little guys from doing it.
The biggest thing is that they did this to a major.
That's it.
Player within the trading card market.
Yep.
That was made an example of type thing where it's $200 million in 1 year alone sales.
Yes.
150 to 2 million. Yeah, or 200 million. That's crazy. That's crazy. But you're right. I mean, that's what they did. They made an example out of them.
They're not even the top seller. I think Probstein's the top, consignment place on eBay. So,
That's
crazy. This is scary.
I go to the shallow pools. I'm like 4 Sharp Corners.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, there has been thoughts of PWCC being taken down for a long time, but for the trimming scandal, which is to me just as bad, right? Because once the trimming scandal happens, and there are these guys that have proved trimming without a doubt based on little issues in cards that they see on the original, and then when they get
the Dwayne Johnson rookie card with uncut with no perforated edges.
Yes. No, you're right.
Really?
That's
The sheep
Yeah,
card
yeah.
with like you can't see the sheep perforation.
Yes,
That's
100%, man. The Gretzky, OPG cards with no, because it was cut from a uncut sheet, and they got in trouble with a lot of cards by doing that, or a lot of people by doing that, and but the problem is they never got arrested, or nobody ever got any charges against them, and the FBI is now continuing their investigation, which, if that ever comes down and we ever hear something about that, that's like end game to me. Once the FBI gets involved and finds something, we're talking about a lot of money going through hands to have the FBI get involved.
I'm glad that they're on this, and that they have the guts to take down obviously a big seller. But isn't a big part of this? I think a big part of this responsibility falls on eBay. They try as hard as they can to be as non-transparent as they can about data, about past sales, about people finding out what best offers are going for. They could be very clear on what best offers are. This is a sale and it was canceled. The data that you look up on past sales is really muddy. It's really muddy. If it was clear what things were selling for, what things were canceled, what things were, returned, whatever, let us have all the data so that we can see, if we look up how much something is worth. Okay, there's 3 sales, 2 of them, the best offer was quite a bit lower. I know there's ways to find out the best offer if you use.
Why do you guys think that they don't give us that information? What's the reason behind it?
I think some of it might be difficulty with I'm just thinking from working in IT.
Yeah.
All the stuff that gets sold on eBay, and we tend to live within our circle of comics or whatever we buy on eBay.
Yeah.
With everything that's getting sold, is it an easy? I mean, I understand there probably could be a blanket of, hey, just show the data, last sale, last whatever, but I don't know how easy it is to maintain. And is it such a big launch now that whenever you fix a coding issue, you break a coding issue somewhere else, usually when it comes to software?
Yeah, that's a good point. Think about it from that way. I don't know. Maybe some of it's privacy rights too. Like, I mean, there's a lot of different reasons they could or could not do it, I think. But I agree with you, Tony. I think it definitely muddies the waters and makes it harder to see what's real and what's not, because eBay can be manipulated very easily.
Don't start out the buyer's name. I want to see it.
Yeah. Right. Like, so I don't know. And I think that's why you see other platforms trying to lift off, I think, and overtake.
I don't think it was ever their goal, but I mean, we're in a place now where eBay is the price guide. I mean, they're a marketplace, but they're also the price guide for
You're
a lot of
100%
different
right.
collectibles, and there's a responsibility that comes with that. Beckett doesn't erase their prices. I mean, I know it's a magazine form, but still, if you're a price guide, you don't erase your prices after 90 days.
Yeah.
It's
only worth what someone's willing to pay for, and that's the quickest way to look is filter by sold listings and guesstimate swag from there.
Yeah.
This is a great question.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good one. That's a tough one too. Go ahead, Brian.
Well, the bottom line is whether you respect the people that you're watching, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's hard to get information. I get it if you don't know the people, but how people treat other people, how people treat each other on the shows, the knowledge that the people have that are talking about stuff, whether people are honest and can say they've made a mistake. I don't know. There's a lot of things that you have to look at when you're, especially like us as being, we might not think we're influencers. That's a big word, like I would never think myself as an influencer, but we go and talk about a book and it moves the needle, whether we like it or not. So, that's why with Flipside, it's always been such a big thing of like that honesty in comics. And not just honesty of like about the comic books, but honesty about, your channel, your show, the people that you interact with. That's the whole key. And
Yeah,
whether or
and
not,
we've even before YouTube within the Google Plus days and the groups right there. So you've always got a lot of that, and you always get the term pump and dump that comes out, which I always thought it meant something else until I got into comic book stuff. But and that's why I do try to make cognizant of it, because I like to try to talk about the stuff that I myself enjoy. I myself enjoy reading. So when I try to talk about something, I try to make the point of, hey, this is why I enjoyed it. If this is something that you might be interested in, you might enjoy it as well. But I try not to ever say, hey, you got to go buy this. I don't sit there and go, hey, I see this, jumping in price. Now, I will not say that I have not ever said that, because I'm sure if you can go back and see, there's times where that, but I've also learned from those lessons. And I also watch stuff where, you hear, well, I was the first one to talk about this. I always think also it's great to get the information, but ultimately you're the one responsible for your own collection. And if you don't like Venom, if you don't like Spawn, which we just talked about, why are you going to buy it? And if someone's talking about it, this isn't, and this is for comic collecting. If you're flipping or any of that, that's a whole different, that's what you're into. That's great. But from a comic collector standpoint, why are you buying what someone tells you to buy if you don't even like the character?
Yeah.
And like I always say, if it's something I don't like and I'm not going to buy it, and then someone's like, well, I was the first one to talk about it. Well, congratulations. You're the first one I ignored because I don't want anything to do with that character.
Amen.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
and it's very touchy because it's easy to get the information, and so you can hear someone's conversation. It's like, you know what? I'm interested in that now, but ultimately I'm talking about collecting. I'm not talking about hoarding 10 comics, 25 copies and stuff like that. It's like, okay, pick up a copy and see if you enjoy it. And if you like it, go back and collect it. That's what these videos are about. That's what a lot of our videos are about. It's not so much as, hey man, go out there and buy these books. You're going to get rich and send your kids to college, because we got Supermans for that. But
I think, going back to the question, I think there's a big difference. One is criminal fraud, and the other is talking, if you have 2 copies of a book and one of them is on eBay and you're telling people how much you love this book, and people go, judge that, if you will. I mean, I watched a lot of these programs, Brian and all you guys for years when I got back in the hobby, before I started showing up on these things. And I got a lot of great ideas. I got introduced to a lot of brand new books, and, watching what other people are buying, especially people who pay attention to the hobby as much as you guys do, as much as we do, it has value. There's a reason why pickups are one of the most popular parts of a lot of the shows. People are very interested in what people are buying. I'm not going to stake it, why would I take a stock pick from somebody who isn't invested in that stock? That tells me something, Yeah. So
it's a lot like baseball, right? You might have a 300 average, and that's good, but that's not 1,000, and then you're striking out on another 70%.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the other thing is reputation, right? I mean, your reputation is everything, and especially in the comic book world, if you're trying to be a seller or an influencer or whatever, your reputation says a lot about you, and you start getting a bad reputation and it moves on. But more importantly, if you have a good reputation, and a perfect example that I give is Ben Stein. I mean, Ben Stein is probably one of the most trustworthy persons that I know in this community. And for years, he's been going on and doing the Hot 10 and saying, hey, I don't like this book. I don't know why it's selling. I'm just telling you it's selling. Right. So it's how the reputation of the people also, I think, is very important.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree. All of that.
And I'll say this too, because this topic does come up here and there, and we weren't even talking about this a little bit ago. We were talking about the shilling thing, but for the most part, the biggest value that I ever got from watching people talk about books or hyping books or whatever you want to call it was having that in my repertoire when I went to the local comic shop. It wasn't about God, load up eBay as fast as I can and grab as, eBay prices compared to what you can find it for in the wild is crazy expensive on almost anything. I mean, a book that you can get for $5 plus $5 shipping on eBay, you can probably find in the dollar bin at a local comic shop. So
FOMO's a mofo, man.
yeah. So that's what if I'm talking about a book, that's what I hope viewers are doing.
Yeah.
Not trying to go out and spend $45 on it on eBay, but remember that cover, remember that book next time you see it in the wild.
I think that's also just the natural life cycle of comic collecting. When I first got back into it, FOMO was real, man. I heard someone talk about something, or I'm buying it because I don't want to miss out. And then you just start from there. You start forming your own collection again. It's like, all right, I'm not concerned with that. I'm just gonna go buy Fraggle Rock #1.
Yeah, but shit, you say FOMO was real. FOMO is real.
Yeah.
Like, man, it still hits. So that is a tough question. But it's all about the integrity. Like Brian said.
It comes down to trust.
Yeah, you gotta trust, and now there are times when we're just flat out wrong. Every one of us has got a big old box of failed spec.
I'm speaking for myself.
So
I don't know what you're talking about.
So that's why, that's why it's always the buy what you like thing too. You got to. I got
a whole bunch of Helheim comics sitting in my.
Yeah, you got to combine factors. So buy what you like if you think it's got a shot. I mean, but a lot of this is a crapshoot. But it goes down to integrity and who do you trust?
Yeah.
It's not going to
your money.
lead
Enjoy
you.
the journey. You always say buy what you like. That's cliche, but it's the truth.
Also, your gut will tell you a lot. Ultra, you put that comment up there that Ultra said where he says you can always tell who is disingenuous and trying to hype a book to sell. You can tell the carnival barkers because that's what they are. They're carnival barkers. Oh, look over here. Look over here. What's this? Oh, wow. You can tell those people. Go with your gut. Good stuff.
Anyways. So I don't want to say anyways. That's bad. But
I do think
that was a great topic, and I appreciate Mitch. I kind of, I don't want to say derailing us, but digressing.
I love it.
But Tony, you had something to add real quick?
I was just going to say, to wrap up that and go back to the original, I think we do need to stay on top of what kind of fraud is happening or we think is happening on eBay. I think that's the only way to fight against it. A new pattern that you might see, or something, not that solves it, but the more people that are aware of that, that maybe you shouldn't take past sales as gospel. Maybe you should be careful about this or that, double check things. The more we talk research about here, the more valuable it is.
I mean, everyone says do your own research, but I mean that kind of comes, or what Reagan said, trust but verify.
Yeah. Everybody wants that free cornbread though. That's where it gets tough.
Yeah.
But did you have more to add on the PWCC, Brian?
No, other than the fact that, once we hear either, what's coming, if they explain how the shilling is happening, that'll be very interesting because maybe they don't want to say it, kind of like you don't want to give away, tricks of the trade to other people who could, just hear how it works and do the same thing. But more than anything is, and this to kind of like segue back out of what we were just talking about, it comes with trust, right? Like, this is the second highest selling, consignment person on eBay for cards, but they have also been under investigation with the FBI for the last 2 years for trimming.
Yeah. I think it's funny that we all say Segue and people are probably watching going, this guys can't say Segway for shit.
Yeah.
It all comes from our good friend Mel V, Mighty Mel V, back in the day, kept calling it Segue and it just kind of stuck. So instead of Segway, everyone says Segue. But
yes.
Yeah. I must get like four messages a month from somebody going, by the way, it said Segway like the scooter. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
So going into the next topic, Tony, we got some Shang-Chi news, right? There was a CEO quarter investment call, and the Disney CEO came out and said like Shang-Chi's an experiment or something, right?
Yeah. I didn't listen to the transcript or read the transcript or listen to the recording of what was said. All I've got are these stories that we're looking at here. So Shang-Chi star Simu Liu slams Disney CEO's earnings call comment, "We are not an experiment." I think they were talking about, and this
The
is what I
release.
think.
They're going straight theatrical.
Yeah, I think they were talking about how they're releasing it this time compared to how they released the last Black Widow. And they were he did use the word experiment. I don't know. You know, Kevin Feige just came out on it today saying he thinks it was a misunderstanding. But obviously Simu has taken it as, and we've seen a pattern of that with Marvel and
he's
Disney,
kind of
so.
he's kind of back. I won't say backtracked a little bit on it, but he's
Yeah.
added amplifying comments
definitely
to
been
what he was saying.
100. I mean, he maybe said one sentence about it, and there have been 100 stories about that one sentence. So it has been hyped up by the media quite a bit, which I get. The star,
Well, yeah, you're
their
coming
new
on the tails of the
blockbuster.
whole Scarlett Johansson stuff.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Exactly. So it's a little drama, but to be fair, I mean that's almost exactly what was happening back when the Black Widow was first being introduced, and the old CEO, you know, didn't want to have a female-led show and was discounting things that weren't, you know, white male centric. So
Yeah, and
I
it's
think that's
different
kind of
because,
where
right,
it's coming from.
Part of what the CEO was saying also, which Kevin Feige kind of doubled down on, was, you know, it's an experiment because they're not doing the Disney Plus. It's also an experiment because they're outside of that normal theatrical release window, which is typically like 90 days. They're in like a 43-day release window. And then even after that, it's not going to Disney Plus. It's going your standard video on demand, you know, rent and purchase before it even hits Disney Plus. So yeah, it was kind of, at the time it hit hard because the headlines came about, but someone put in the comments, there was bad communication, right? So I could see how you might have taken that, I don't want to say out of context, but interpreted it the way that they did. But it was also brought up, like, the headlines came across like, "We are not an experiment." Well, the movie is an experiment because even in that Kevin Feige article, he said, no, it was the budget and everything else explains that they did not treat it as an experiment. And there was also other articles that came out a couple of days ago that they were expecting kind of a small box office weekend, like 55 million. But then since then, even like early reviews for like a premiere came out and everyone's loving it. So.
Right. Yeah, and I don't think it's a bad thing. You know, it was a last minute decision on Black Widow to change the release. As much pressure as on Disney right now, they're not going to make that mistake again. So, you know, make sure that they're in the limelight. So I see both sides of it. I guess I kind of agree with Kevin Feige that it wasn't that comment wasn't reflecting the focus of the movie as an experiment. But
it makes sense, but given the ScarJo situation, you wonder how much is PR spin contain the situation before it gets too big type thing. But
right.
I don't know. I'm interested to hear what everyone else thinks.
Yeah, I mean, I think you said it. I mean, it's just bad communication. So, I mean, it really is an experiment from everything that you said, Brian. I mean, it's just, it blows shit up for nothing sometimes. It is the bottom line as far as I'm concerned.
Do you guys remember the talk about when they first released the trailer and how the Chinese market really was negative about it? Like, they were super negative about it. And that's a big deal, right? That's the second largest market in the world for movies. And they were really negative about it. Like, they were saying things about it that made me just be like, I was like, what? So, if they've been scared about that for a while now, and then you throw on, you know, the other stuff that's going on, maybe that they've been thinking about this. It has something to do with, you know, that you never know, because to lose that market, to not have that market be excited about Asian superhero, movie
Yeah.
is bonkers.
Well, I wonder if there's also fears, or I won't say fears isn't the right word, but Mortal Kombat, Snake Eyes, and then now you're having Shang-Chi out.
Great point.
They're similar, they're different, but they're similar within that market. And after the Snake Eyes, man, it seemed to not do well at all. I enjoyed Mortal Kombat. Of course, HBO Max and Warner Brothers is a whole different thing right now, but if people are wondering that way. And I actually enjoyed the first trailer for Shang-Chi better than the ones that they've been recently. And I've been to the theaters this past weekend to see Free Guy, and the weekend before that to see Suicide Squad, and they showed the newer trailers. And if anyone's to blame for it, I would blame Aquafina. I'm kidding.
It does look good though.
I think it looks
good. I'm more excited to see that than I was Loki. I know I was I could give a damn about Loki, but I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, I want to see it in the theater. Anyways.
I like the way that they made the 10 rings look, and like the type of weapon and how it looks on screen. It looks really badass. I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
I think it's going to make up for the Danny Rand that we got on Netflix.
Is Iron Fist going to show up in there?
Yeah, who knows?
That's what I'm saying. I think there's going to be a lot of stuff that pops out of this one. I really do. I think it could be it's like a gateway drug.
But going back to what you said, McClay, about China and the market in China, I think it is an uphill battle with them. I think it's always been an uphill battle with them. Even when you look at the origin of the character, his father was Fu Manchu. The villain for this movie is the Mandarin. That's the name of their language, the Mandarin. It's
Ben Kingsley.
It's not an easy sell. I am not Chinese. I am not of Asian descent. I lived in China for 6 years. My wife is Chinese. My kids are Chinese. So I have a little bit of a perspective on it. There's been a very vocal backlash to Shang-Chi or Shang-Chi in the Chinese internet for a few different reasons. They're not happy with the casting. And it sounds superficial, but it's a real thing. I was talking to Phil from Vintage Comics, and his heritage is Filipino, but they get kind of the same perspective. They look at the big giant movie stars, the Chris Evans, these huge A-list actors, and they have a different standard of beauty among their superstars than we do. There've been a lot of stories and talk about how they don't think, when we cast an Asian actor or actress, they think that our beauty standards don't match up with theirs at all. In essence, they think that they're kind of ugly. Why are we putting ugly people? And I'm not saying they're ugly. It's a total different.
Yeah,
it's completely. Right. It's culturally just very, very different. It's weird to even have this conversation, but that's what a lot of it comes down to, along with the origin of the character. But why?
Oh, wait, they like Vin Diesel?
Well, yeah, exactly. But they could have probably, he wouldn't have been in the top 20 people that they would have picked to star in the movie. Now, that's not to say that he's not charming as hell. Yeah. And is gonna blow people away and be one of the fan favorites in another 5 years. But a lot of the pushback, same thing with Aquafina. They don't understand why she's in all these movies. She's not a Chinese superstar, beautiful, A-list actress. So if we're making a Chinese superhero, why don't we respect their preferences? If that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense. And that's exactly what I was referring to, is, the fact that some of the stuff is really hard to understand, because it's a cultural thing. It's 100% a cultural thing.
I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see how it sets up the rest of, what we're in phase 4 now, right? And how talking about Doctor Strange coming up. It said it's supposed to be a pivotal point of the MCU story going forward. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to
it.
I
just like being entertained.
Amen.
Maximus.
What do you
Rose.
guys think? What do you guys think the end credits or the post credit scenes are gonna?
Yeah, evidently there's multiple, right?
Yeah, sounds like there's at least 2.
Is anything leading into Eternals? Is it which one's the next one? Is it Doctor Strange or Eternals? I forget.
Eternals, I think.
I think Eternals. Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
already a conflict over that being how that's going to be released to us all today or something like that.
Eternals is going to
Is
be
it-
weird. Like how they're playing it, like, they've been here forever, but they've like it sounds weird. I was looking at like the way that they have it set up, and now they have the multiverse stuff, and like, no, they've always been like our universe, that type of stuff. I don't know, it just sounds a little weirder than I thought it was going to be.
We could get some Eternals within the movie because it looks like parts of this flashback to like some ancient battles. When Mandarin was in his heyday. I don't know. Who knows?
Beardo.
Comic Man Andy, you're too quiet down there, man.
I'm just listening. I'm listening and learning tonight.
At one
I'm
point,
listening
I
and
just
learning.
put a picture up and left. I'm kidding.
I don't know. I don't get where they are calling it an experiment or feel like it could be an experiment, because when they're talking about the release schedule, I feel like they're just trying to get back to some sort of a normal, and they're just trying to make people as much money as possible and try to get back to some sort of a normal. And what will happen is we won't fall into what we knew as what our normal used to be. We'll fall into a new normal where people are making the money that they're supposed to be making for what they've done, and people are being entertained. At the end of the day, this is cloudy, it's confusing, and when I see this stuff pop up, I immediately click and get rid of it. It's drama. It's drama. It's drama that I don't care. I just want to be entertained, like Brian said. I want to sit down at the end of the day and either watch this in the theater or watch this in my own theater at home and just have a good time with the movie. You know what I mean?
Rich, you got your own theater.
Yeah, save the drama for your mama.
I mean, the poor man. I mean, it's just it ain't no theater, but
I know. I'm giving you a hard time. I'll tell you what, if I'm an actor, I am not asking for a portion of the box office. I'm asking for a portion of the refreshment cash.
Yeah, that's where the money. That's where the money.
I'll spend $15 on tickets and I'll spend $60 on refreshments.
Yeah, that's where the money is.
My kids like, can I have pretzel bites? Can I have nachos? Can I get popcorn? $8 damn ices.
Candy bar
for the refreshment.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk, well, I mean, come on. Like, we just went and saw a movie not too long ago, and it was like $9.50 or $10 a ticket. I'm like, God, that sounds awfully cheap. Until you get to the concession stand, that alone
is $22,
$40 in food, and I'm like, I feel like look at Black Widow, $30 to watch it premiere access on Disney Plus. Feel like I'm getting ripped off there. Like, I might as well go to the theater and pay $10 a ticket. And then I get to the concession stand. I was like, well, wait a second. If I just would have stayed at home, I could have had my own beer, and I could have. Like, I feel like I'm getting pulled in too many different directions, and I'm not happy with either one right now.
Oh yeah, in the end, the joke was on you. But
yeah,
all right. Speaking of movie theaters, we got Venom 2 delayed. The old Delta variant got them. So what do we got here? Black Widow 2.0. McClay, what are you thinking?
15 days, or is it 15 days that they delayed it? Something like that, like a couple weeks or something. I'm not too worried about it. I think, the closer it is to Halloween, the better for that movie. Yeah. I think that movie has been delayed so many times, and we've been waiting for that character so many times that, 2 extra weeks isn't really too much, to be honest. I get it. People are like, come on, what the hell? But, it is what it is.
Is Ryan Hayslip still in the chat? I wonder what his thoughts are. He's a huge Venom guy.
I got a feeling in my gut that this one's going to be trash, and I really hate to even think that. Like I do, because I don't know. I like Woody,
Why does it going to become like the New Mutants all over again, right?
It looks better though. It looks better than I expected. Like when I saw the trailer, I was like, okay, I got a little bit more. I feel like it could be good.
Yeah,
it's got a better chances of being good than bad, I think.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I don't know.
If it
Sneaky
does suck,
feeling.
it won't be because of Tom Hardy, because that guy's great in almost everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, I agree.
I wasn't a big fan of the casting of Woody. I like Woody, you know, and he's done the insane serial killer kind of thing before. I think he's just, I don't know. I liked the first movie. I didn't think it was awesome or great. It did better than I thought it would. It was more impressive than I thought it would. Tom Hardy was great. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Andy. I'm a little suspect about this one, and I hate to be, because I love Carnage, and if you make a big splashy movie like this and screw up the villain, you know, that's a dead character for quite a while before they can revive it. So,
Yeah.
you know, it took a long time after Spider-Man 3 to get Venom back on screen. So I'm hoping it doesn't get botched, but it really all comes down to the writing, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
Are they as careful as Feige is about buttoning down that script and making sure that it makes sense and flows and character development and all that stuff, or are they just going to do the splashy symbiote, you know, special effects?
I did see an article today that talks about Jonah Jameson showing up, like the Spider-Man Jonah Jameson. Oh, what's the guy's name? Commissioner Gordon /
Mhm.
insurance guy.
Mm-hmm.
I forget his name,
I
but
do too.
awesome actor. And it's bad that I forget his name, but I heard the rumor that that's how they're going to kind of tie the Sony and MCU verse together. They're going to have Jonah Jameson as Night Nurse. I'm kidding, but a little Rosario Dawson action there. But and that's interesting to see, because I'm also, there's still more coming out, right? Because we still have the Morbius movie, so
Oh God, yeah.
I have faith that Sony can put together some type of standalone Spider-Verse, right? I hope.
Yeah. Hope and pray. That's all you can do at this point.
Well, did you see when they talked to Hardy about whether or not, you know, there's a likelihood of him jumping into, you know, the Spider-Verse? Like, he gave the most cryptic, weird answer. Like,
Yeah.
it was really weird. It was like,
All those great actors are kind of like that, right?
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
he didn't want to do it. It was weird, man.
J.K. Simmons, Brian. J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons. Yeah, thanks.
There you go.
Jacob. He's awesome. You ever see that? Sorry, I'm not gonna digress, but there's a movie that he was in that had like they were like robbing this old lady's house, and he had IBS.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
What movie was that?
But I feel like I need to watch it now.
Look it up and then just say the name of the movie. I don't want to drag the conversation on, but it's an awesome movie. It's so great.
He's
It's like one of
definitely
the Coen
like
Brothers type comedies.
yeah, he's definitely the get off my lawn guy. There's no doubt about
Who's that?
it. Him, he's definitely the get off my guy
J.K.
lawn.
Simmons.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, who's in charge of the Sonyverse? Who's in charge of this? Who's in charge of the Spider-Verse for Sony? Is there a person?
I don't know if it's like a Feige type person.
What's
or
her
not.
name? Amy Pascal? Is that her name?
Yeah, and then what was the other guy that was just do this the Spider-Man movies? Who Feige was like working under and then branched off.
You know, without somebody to keep it cohesive, I don't have a lot of faith in them pulling off multiple characters and tying them together. I just don't. I mean, I've seen a lot of superhero movies, and I don't know. Feige isn't like a deity or anything, but you have to have that, you know, Filoni kind of character for the Star Wars universe, or Feige for the Marvel universe. You've got to keep somebody. You've got to have somebody steer the ship. You might have a good movie here and there, like DC. They'll have a good movie here and there, but as a whole, it sucks.
That's a really good point, because then over time things become fragmented, and instead of adding to each other, they become detractors, right?
Yep. I agree. I don't know. We can hope for the best. That's about it.
I guess now that we have the multiverse, though, it makes it really easy to reboot.
Yeah,
Be like, oh,
right.
let's jump to a different reality.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Lady Killers.
Oh, you're looking it up right now?
That's what I knew he was doing something. I could see the smoke coming out of his ears.
Yeah, Lady Killers.
Lady Killers.
Awesome movie.
All right.
From 2004. He's got an IBS and they're trying to rob a house. An IBS X up.
That's awesome.
Oh, that is good.
But anyhow, last two topics, we've talked a lot about comic book related movies, which brings us to like the discussion topic that we wanted to talk about this week, right, Alberto?
Oh boy. Yes, does it ever. What would the hobby be like without movies or TV shows? And you want to pose one of the most difficult questions to answer. And I'll go right off the tip of the tongue, so to speak here. The only thing I have to draw from to answer this question is I got to go back to 1991. I got to go back to when I was on a limited budget, mowing lawns for money, walking to my LCS and trusting my gut to buy the books that I liked and think about what life was like back then. Sure, there was some comic book movies. There was some stuff out there, but there wasn't the MCU, there wasn't DC, there wasn't any of this, right? So when it came to life in a comic book store back then, you literally had to trust your gut. It was a flat out education. You had to spend time reading Overstreet price guides. What were the other publications that were out there? The big one,
Wizard Magazine.
Wizard Magazine. I had a subscription to that. You had to stay subscribed to Wizard. You had to stay up to date with Overstreet and everything else. It was like you had to make a conscious effort to read and educate yourself so that when you walked into a store and you were digging through bins or you were diving through shelves and whatnot, you knew what you were looking at.
That's also a time when you were like embarrassed. Well, I'm gonna say embarrassed, but it wasn't hey, dude, I collect comic books as people do now. Like, oh crap, there's all these comic movies. It was one of those things you're like, yeah, I collect comic books.
You got to remember back then, if you were bringing comic books to school with your friends, you were hiding in the corner of the lunchrooms and hoping the bulk of the people didn't see you doing that while trading Pokemon cards or playing Pogs or doing whatever back then. This was a subculture of a subculture, and it wasn't the cool thing to do. It wasn't an in thing at all by any means. Yeah. So it was a lot tougher game to play when it came to building a collection. But sticking to that, buy what you love and you'll love what you buy is really kind of how I went. And I did the old adage, read one, stash one. I bought 2 of everything. Yes, sir, I'll buy another Youngbloods 1. Wait, what did I just do? You know what I mean? I bought some bad comic books back in the day because of trying to educate yourself was a nightmare. Now with streaming and everything, you guys know how much easier it is to educate yourselves. So I really want to hear what you guys had to say about this because I've been dwelling on this for a couple of days, and the only thing that I can think about is drawing back from my experiences as a kid on a budget in that comic book shop in the 90s. So Tony, man, lead us off.
Yeah. No, well, pose the question one more time. So,
what would the hobby be like without movies or TV shows?
Or TV shows.
Yeah, take away the MCU, take away all the Amazon, take away all Netflix, the TV shows and movies right now. What do you think the comic book collecting landscape would look like without all that?
Yeah. Well, obviously, it was around. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, even in the 70s, there were TV shows. There was Wonder Woman and Incredible Hulk. And
they weren't as popular, though. Let's put the basis of this. Can we all agree that the MCU launched a comic book craze that the comic book is now more mainstream than it ever was?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like I mean, it kills spec as we know it pretty much right now. You know, it doesn't kill spec, but it kills spec as we know it for sure right now. Yeah, I can say that.
Most Marvel fans have never purchased a comic book in their lives. I mean, they know Spider-Man, they know Captain America, they love Chris Evans. They probably could tell you, the name of every Guardian of the Galaxy, they've never been in a comic shop.
Mhm.
I mean, really.
Yeah.
So what would it be like without all the shows? I mean, there'd still be hype. There'd still be spec. There was speculation,
But it would be
before.
purely driven on the books, which is what I kind of miss.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like that.
Niche. Like,
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the
It's like
eBay
annual thing.
sales wouldn't be as big. They're, listen, spec, I think you're 100% right, Andy. Spec would be basically dead. I mean, the prices that we're getting now for books are 10 times what they would be if we never had movies or TV shows. There is one good thing. I think writing would be better. I think comics would be better. I think the stories would be better.
I mean, think about it too. Like it was the 90s. Like you were buying Youngbloods for long-term spec. That was that was your only spec. Like you were hoping to have the next Spider-Man in your hand or the next book like that, because those are the big books.
A lot of run. People that collect runs. That doesn't happen really very often anymore.
Yeah. So it was.
I think there was speculation, but flipping did not exist. The prices were not that volatile. You could not pick up a book and sell it 2 months later for anything. If you picked up a book, you were going to put it in a box for till your kids went to college.
Yeah.
Like that was speculation.
Yeah, and it was crazy because I mean, there's other stuff that's come along since that time period as well, like the internet, but which makes things morally accessible. But yeah, it's curious. I like to think of that stuff because the conversation would definitely be changing, because a lot of the conversation here nowadays is it's always, I see this as a TV show, I see this as a movie. You take those away, and then what does that conversation become? It's like, hey, people start referencing, as Ultra said, you start referencing more comics, which I kind of miss that as a reader, is, hey, let's just talk about the comics more. It's great. I absolutely love the MCU, the DCEU, because as a comic fan, that's what you want to see, is what you read come to life on the screen. It's just, I'm curious what the landscape would be like and how many different conversations would take place. And like we talked about, like back then, man, it was kind of like, yeah, I collect comics. Now it's like, motherfucker, I collect comics.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the box office. Us comic nerds are popular.
Thanks, Mitch. Right there.
Yeah, pop culture cons, which
like I don't have dislike towards pop culture and the people that enjoy that, but there are conventions out there that are just shadows of what they used to be,
two comic vendors.
Because all they want all of the mainstream guests. They want all these people here. It's cosplay, actors. Hey, neat. I paid a ticket to come in to hunt comic books and look through comic books and meet these dealers, and they're becoming much more of a smaller portion of these shows now. And I could name off 3 conventions in Michigan here that are turning into just strictly pop culture ones. And people are asking, stop calling yourself a comic book convention if you're just not going to bring comic books in. Mitch hit the nail on the head, man. I want me a good old 1990s comic book convention. I really need that in my life, where it's nothing but books and it's buried elbow deep in books.
Yeah. Speaking of pop culture cons, did you see Wizard World sold all their cons?
No.
Yeah. It was like a week or so ago. There's an article. Wizard World was I forgot who to, but Wizard World was selling all their Comic Cons, or what they called Comic Cons.
Wow. Ultra brought up how we used to collect creator first. And I was in a shop the other day, and the shop owner goes, yeah, this just came in. And it was the Daredevil 158. And he goes, this book used to be the highest valued book in the Daredevil run. I mean, that Daredevil 158, you look in a Wizard, it was the highest valued book in the run. You remember another really high valued book was the first John Byrne X-Men, like Marvel, what was that? Marvel Team Up 53 or something like that, with Hulk and the X-Men. And that book was the highest valued book in the run. Like, creator first were cared about before the movies and the TV shows.
Oh, yeah, that's what I say. It was just a different spec game. That's what I say. It kills spec as we know it. It doesn't kill spec. I mean, there was still a lot of stuff that you you did, but you would have to change your game. It's like you're going from playing football to basketball.
Yeah.
Speaking of what you were just talking about, I'm kind of sad that Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil run's coming to an end in November.
Oh, son of a! You turned me onto that run 2 years ago, man.
Yeah, sorry. Sold to Fan Expo. Sorry. Yeah, Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil run's been one of the best runs. Like, I kind of like Mark Waid's run, but yeah, Chip Zdarsky's been killing that Daredevil.
I just get tired of seeing Daredevil in prison all the time. How many times are we going to get Daredevil in prison?
He's a avocado, isn't that what they call?
He's a repeat offender.
Yeah.
It's a bad man.
Yeah. And then he puts his
comments
thing
in the
on.
chat, and if you guys are watching this on the replay, let us know what you guys think comics, what the landscape would look like without. I'm not wishing the MCU or any of that to go away because I love it.
Hell no.
It would just definitely paint a different picture. I also want to take this time because we have Mitch in the chat, right? Mitch is in the chat. He's been in the chat. Mitch Joey's been in the chat like religiously. He's always added to the conversation, and I want to say thank you so much for being in the chat. I know there's others in the chat as well, and I appreciate you guys as well. But Mitch in particular, I want to say thank you, and do me a favor. If you can send me an email at simplemanscomics@gmail.com. I want to put something special. Give me your address. I want to put a special little package together of some comic books and send those out to you, my friend, because definitely appreciate. I mean, even tonight you saw we basically added another topic onto the layer of it just out of his comments. So thanks to that, and thanks to everyone else that's in the chat. And with that being said, we know tomorrow is New Comic Book Day. So what is everyone picking this week? McClay, do you have a pick?
This was a kind of a weird week for me. Like, there wasn't much that I looked at that I really thought was like crazy good. I don't know, man. Come back to me. Let me figure this out. I want to figure something good out.
All right, Tomberlin.
All right, I'll steal everybody else's. Eat the Rich. I'm looking forward to that one.
I read an advanced PDF of that, by the way.
I stayed away from it. I stayed away.
It talks about, the solicit. I can't remember if they talked about it in the solicit or not, but they compared it to Get Out. And if you've seen that movie, see, here we go. We're talking relating comics to movies again. But if you like that type, if you liked Nice House on the Lake, this is definitely a book that is worth reading into. And the first issue is great. That the art was great, and it definitely ends that first issue going some crazy crap going on within this story because, like she's trying to help the nanny out, and the nanny's like, "You don't help the help." Don't go. Are you crazy? Do not help the help. Do not talk to the help. You just be like you're here with the rich people. Act like them. So, yeah, Eat the Rich is great. Alberto.
Ooh, man. I kind of hemmed and hawed over this a little bit, and then I went back to check my pull list email for the night. Star Wars makes up 80% of my pull list this week. 80% of it. So War of the Bounty Hunters, I'm actually pretty excited to read. Issue 3 is out tomorrow. I know there's been some of the other one-shots or the other mini portions of War of the Bounty Hunters. I'm very interested to get back into this main portion of the storyline and see where and how it advanced. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that was going to be my pick just because that issue 3 kind of has like right before the storm, right, where it's Boba Fett having to deal with Vader and Jabba the Hutt, right? Mm-hmm. But because you went first and I couldn't get it out fast enough, my second pick, Kang the Conqueror #1.
Ooh,
right. I know everybody is talking about Kang lately, and to see Marvel come back with a new series coming out, that means that they're going to push him pretty big, and I'm very interested to see what they have, in store for him there. Ton of crazy variants too for that issue. Some really crazy variants, and the Scotty Young variant looks really freaking cool. I'll share it if you guys haven't seen it. Here it is. Great looking cover.
Ooh, I do like that.
That could, yeah. I don't know. I don't know how easy it was to get, if there was any qualifiers or whatnot for it. But there's a
You can
Moon
catch
Knight.
Scotty Young on Substack.
Yeah. That one kind of reminds me of that Moon Knight, Scotty Young, where he's hanging from the moon.
Yep.
It's a $100 book and a hard book to find. So I do like that pick, Brian.
Yeah, and that's one, if you're going to collect it, it's worth doing that pre-order 9.8 with that black cover, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amen. Amen. Yeah.
Agreed.
Good stuff.
Tony. Feels good.
Yeah, I guess kind of like you guys, I thought it was a little bit of a quiet week. I'm gonna have to go with my mutant roots. We'll go back to the X-Men. I haven't been huge on a lot of the X-Men books recently, but speculation-wise, figuring out what's going to happen in the MCU, my strategy has been to look at big storylines that I don't know what characters they're going to introduce first. I don't know what movie they're going to show up in, but I can tell you a couple of the big storylines that we will see on screen. And one of those at some point in time is going to be the trial of Magneto. So they are doing a, X-Men Trial of Magneto #1 comes out tomorrow. I'm sure it won't be anything similar to the original, which was right around Uncanny
200.
Yeah. And that was kind of in my sweet spot of collecting X-Men at the time. So
Same with me.
I'm gonna go with that one.
You don't like seeing Daredevil in jail, but Magneto on trial is cool. Is that what's up? No, I'm kidding.
Damn straight.
Speaking of which, did you guys see John Hickman's is ending X-Men? Is ending his X-Men run, right?
To go to Substack.
Yeah.
Wait, are you serious?
Yes.
Substack, that's the Jimmy Johns of comics, man.
Oh my God.
I'm just kidding. I hate Jimmy Johns, by the way.
Oh, that was good.
I'd rather have a Lunchable.
What? Get out of here. Lunchable.
All right, that's the topic for next week.
Yeah. But so I'm going Tony this week, and I kind of had two where I want to give a shout out to Contankers, by the way. He just did the $10 super chat. So thank you so much for that. Nightwing continues its Tom Taylor goodness. That one's coming out tomorrow, but I want to give him a shout out. Had him on this channel multiple times. He's the writer of Kanto, but he's also written Alien Bounty Hunter, which is a great story from Vault Comics. One of my favorite writers and just a great all-around guy. David Booher has his Dark Horse book, Killer Queens, coming out tomorrow. And it promises, it was in New York Times. It's been it's gotten a lot of press. The story in it, I've had a chance to read an advance issue for this too. I enjoyed it, but if you like that Guardians of the Galaxy type story, but with the twist, this is definitely one worth picking up. And I actually like that Jen Bartel variant, regular priced variant for that. So shout out to David Booher, friend of the channel, but Killer Queens #1 from Dark Horse. Dark Horse, they don't do a lot of comics that people talk about, especially with creator-owned. A lot of their better stuff is licensed. Killer Queens, and then Last Flight Out is that Mark Guggenheim book that I got to read. I definitely enjoy those. But those are my picks.
Yeah, that Killer Queens looks pretty interesting. I'm looking at it right now.
So
it's very interesting. It's on. Yeah, cool.
But so Andy, that just leaves us with one more thing, right?
Ooh, it sure does. What was that? Sounds like somebody dropped a toolbox.
Sean Leggett in the house. Where is he?
One more thing. McClay, let's start with you.
All right. One more thing. Now, this is something cool I showed on Flipside last night. If you guys don't know, I help host a bunch of shows over there, and we do giveaways every once in a while. And my local comic shop owner, I went into the shop the other day, and he said, "Hey, you like sports cards? Here, take these." And he gave me some 1920 exhibit boxing cards that have Sugar Ray Robinson is one of them. But that wasn't the coolest part. The coolest part is he goes, "Here, and he hands me a box, a little card box full of cards, a 1966 Batman trading card set."
Oh, nice.
Yeah. He's like, here, I found these in the bottom of the box. Give them away on your show, on your channel. So if you guys don't already follow Tales from the Flip Side, give us a follow. We'll be talking about this giveaway over the next couple days on
Did you
the
just
channel.
have John Kirkham on there?
We did, and that's what I was going to get at next. Is not only did I do that on the show, but we had the one and only Big Clutch on, and thanks to Brian, who a long time ago said you got to get Sean on. He's a cool dude, and it was a lot of fun. He stuck around the whole 3 hours and just hung out and talked comics. It wasn't like an interview thing or anything. It was just him jumping in, giving his opinion on whatever stories we were talking about. So it was a lot of fun. So if you get a chance, go check it out. Tales from the Flip Side last night.
Yeah, Sean Kirkham, VP over there at Skybound. Awesome guy. He's one of us. You can sit there, like you just said, sit there and he'll talk about comics, talk about pretty much
G.I.
everything.
Joe.
So definitely go to Tales from Flip Side and check that out. But Tomberlin.
Yeah, head over to Keep It Thorough Comics. Check out the Indie Spotlight Series show where he takes the list from comicbookinvest.com and does a great job with it. So go check that out. And if you're the asshole opening up the Walmart packs, you need to be slapped
in the store.
Yes, and then drug out of the store and beaten.
Chewing gum?
Yeah. You can open all the chewing gum you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, Walmart pack, dude. You're gonna get it. You'll get yours.
Yeah. They always have that, right? Between that and then, as McClay mentioned earlier, they're going in there weighing cards and buying up cards, and it's crazy.
Pack searching, yeah. Pack searchers are now showing up in the comics world.
Yeah. Oh, Beardo.
Oh, one more thing. The Comic Dojo reached 1,000 subscribers recently. That was pretty exciting. So if you guys are catching this on the replay and don't know what that means the hashtag Slabaganza giveaway has been activated. There's 8 slabs that are going to be given away live coming up. I think we're looking at the 18th of next month to schedule that. There's a lot happening between now and then. Want to have plenty of time to make sure that all the entries are tallied up. Everything is, all the T's are crossed, all the I's are dotted. We're going to go live early on a Saturday because it's going to be about a 4 or 5 hour stream, I bet, to give all this stuff away and hang out with everybody. It's going to be a blast. It's been one hell of a ride. It's been a good time. And I can't wait to see what's next.
Yeah, Andy's shaving his beard too.
Nope. We're going to shut that down right now.
That's on the Comic Man Andy YouTube channel. Make sure you guys check that out. And Tales from the Flip Side. Links to all the channels and even Indie Spotlight series. I got links in the show notes in the description of this video. So if you guys could go there, that'll take you to Comic Man Andy, Tales from the Flip Side, everywhere you need to be. Even Tony Blue Green Artifacts on Instagram. What do you got for us?
I'm gonna. Andy, you kind of stole mine. I wish I went in front of you now because I was going to talk about, I'm trying to settle in on, we've been talking about Whatnot a lot recently, and I'm trying to get in a groove of one show a week. I've been doing it now for about a month and a half, and we've been trying to give away a lot of slabs. We gave away a Kevin Eastman signed Last Ronin in 1 in 10, 9.8 a couple weeks ago. We gave away a Doctor Strange and the Sorcerer Supreme #1, the 1 in 50 Rodriguez, 9.8. That's selling for like $900 now. I probably should not have given it away.
But
we're giving that away. So in the next few weeks, I'm just saying, if you haven't checked out Whatnot, honestly, even if you don't make a purchase, download the app, just check it out. You'll see a lot of people from YouTube. You'll see a lot of retailers. You'll see a lot of online retailers who do mystery boxes. You'll see a lot of some people who just buy long boxes of just whatever. A lot of different stuff is going on. But please, if you do, give me a follow. I just wanted to show a few books that we're going to be giving away in the next couple weeks. This is a double sign by Alex Maleev and Charles Soule. Lando #1. Somebody's going to win that. We've got a Midtown exclusive, the Run the Jewels variant, Doctor Strange, Punisher, Magic Bullets, 9.8 that's going out. And love those Scotty Youngs, the I'll use the word iconic Scotty Young, the Spider-Gwen #1 is going out. I try to do one a show just for the hell of it. But yeah, come check it out.
Yeah, definitely check them out on Whatnot. And if you're wondering what the heck is Whatnot, I do have a couple videos on this channel here. One highlighting the app, and then two, conversation with Chancellor, who runs that comic division for Whatnot, and talking all about that app. And I even put those videos on the end screen if you're watching this on the replay. So when the video ends, and if not, just check it out on the channel. But my one more thing, I like collecting different things. I've picked up cards, I've picked up Funkos, I've picked up Sideshow statues, Hot Toys figures. One of the new things I've kind of been venturing in, which I'm a total noob at, so I can't say, I've been getting these fig pins. You guys been looking at the fig pins at all?
Oh, yeah.
So my kids started getting into the Disney pin collecting, right? So fig pins is a different one where each one is individually serialized. And I've been picking up some of these ones that are like the limited or exclusive. There's been some that go up there super rare. They've been around for a couple years for now. And the first ever one was a Mike Piazza fig pin. Go figure. And it's, look that up. It sells for crazy money. But
I'm looking it up now.
This Ahsoka, a lot of them right now, the limited ones are limited to like 2,000, which is that a lot? Is that not a lot? It's hard to tell, but $15-20 and buying what I like, right?
It depends on the market. You got to look at Ahsoka Tana. 1,500 of those is not enough for Star Wars and Ahsoka fans at all.
Omega from Bad Batch, this Elvis Stitch. I'm a big Disney fan, and then of course I kind of got this one. I think I'm gonna give this to my youngest. He's a big Sonic fan, so there's a limited Knuckles that's about 2,000. SDCC, NYCC, they've had some up there. There's some cool Batman animated series, but yeah, I've been picking those up, and like I said, $15-20 here and there.
Yeah, you just made me spend money, dude. Like, thank you. I appreciate that.
And I like that they're individually serialized. Like each one's got a unique number, and they do retire some. I don't know how long it takes. Like I said, I'm completely new to it, so I don't know how long before they retire. I'm sure there's people out there that are fig pin collectors, but to me, it's kind of new and it's kind of fun to kind of dip my toe in the shallow end and pick some up. Like I just ordered it. There's a limited Batman animated series Harley, that 1,500 of them. So I picked one of those up for $15.
Yeah, I can't even find the first one.
Yeah, I was curious. I was like, which one was the first one? Because they're numbered, and there's and I thought it was crazy that the first one was a Mike Piazza. I think it was for even like a Mets special event type thing. And I want to say, man, it was going for like $5,000.
Wow.
What?
Yeah, if you were to look it up for now, like Mike Piazza fig pen.
Yeah.
It's crazy. There's some other ones out there that go for crazy.
Joker ones go for a couple hundred.
Yeah.
I think fig pins has its own category on Whatnot, doesn't it?
Yeah. So
Yep.
yeah,
Well,
that's what I'm doing. Kind of. I want to say secretly, but behind the scenes.
There's an Allen Iverson one that's $2,200.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's
like,
nice.
All right. Well, I just bought my first one, so there you go. You can't see it, but yeah, first one. So thanks,
I got
Ryan.
the whole Bad Batch. Like some of them I buy that they're not limited. I don't know how many they're going to make of them, but I got the whole Bad Batch ones. And then there's all types of licenses out there. The
the black and white ones
and
or white chase ones look like they're really, really expensive.
there's some Bruce Lee ones out there. There was a white chase Mandalorian one. So they also do limited to where you can only get them in certain stores like Entertainment Earth, Box Lunch, which is not the same as Box Lunch and Entertainment Earth also do like their own exclusive, but Fig Pen will do like super limited ones that you can only buy. So.
What a great idea.
Yeah, that's pretty good there.
Brian, you're shilling fig pins now.
Yeah. I don't have any for sale, so I'm just saying what I'm collecting. But if they go up, they might be for sale. But either way. And
that's great.
That's kind of it for this evening, guys. Like I said, I want to appreciate everyone that's in the chat. Again, Mitch, make sure you email me at simplemanscomics@gmail.com. We'll get something out to you. Definitely appreciate everyone in the chat. Appreciate Cantankerous. Patreon supporter there. Back at love seeing him in the chat. Miss him for sure. Viva la Baltimore.
Oh my God, yeah.
Where did Cantankerous go?
We lost him. I still owe Cantankerous an A-OK if I see him around.
Yeah. So that's gonna do it for us tonight. With that being said, this is Brian Silverman's Comics. See you guys in the next video.
Peace.
She pull up, hop out, then she swerve. Do your two-step, your little catwalk, make it work. Make it work, Jill, make it work. Strike a pose, make it work, Jill, make it work. Strike a pose.